I'm currently on the phone with Pablo. He's another musician that reached out to me about the current interview series going on. So I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
Well, hello, this is Pablo Aragona. I'm a music producer, drummer, musician, originally from Buenos Aires, Argentina, now living in Winter Park, Florida.
Nice. So why don't you tell me a bit about, how you first found music and what about it, motivated you to participate in it?
Well, my dad is actually a music conductor. So when I was a little kid, like 9 or 10 years old, I started going to piano lessons, guitar lessons, and I never stopped. I always found it super fun, interesting. I always met friends because of music. But then when I was in high school, in one of the recitals, at the end of the year, I saw this kid playing drums and blasting this drum kit, and I was like, oh gosh, like this is it, this is what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I quit piano, I quit guitar, and I just started playing drums, and I never stopped from there. It was just one of those moments.
Awesome. So how did you go about the process of actually like learning the instrument once you knew that's what you wanted to do? Did you take like private lessons or was it all kind of self-taught?
Yeah, well, since I mentioned before, my dad had, like a really strict um background with music, and so he told me, like, drums are expensive, so if you're going to do this, you're going to do it the right way with a
Mm-hmm.
teacher on a weekly basis, and you're going to practice, and if you have questions, you can do it once or twice a week, but like do it seriously. And I did it. So he bought me this really bad drum kit first, and I just destroyed it after a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, okay, I guess this is going serious. So he got me a new one, better one. And I
Mm-hmm.
also destroyed it, but it was like an statement to say,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this is serious. And then in high school, I started playing with different bands and touring. And I was, kind of 17, 18 years old, and I was already playing with music and touring and recording.
Okay, so when you were in high school and you started joining bands and everything,
Yeah.
did you have an idea of the type of music that you wanted to play, or were you kind of just open to playing anything?
Back at that time, I just wanted to play more like rock music, kind of heavy metal music. As a kid, that's what I was listening to. Like punk rock music, melodic hardcore, all that music, and playing with bands, that style. It was super fun. It was super fun and enjoyable. Now I just don't know if I can keep doing that.
Okay, so what would you say is the kind of music that you typically look to play now?
Right now, well, you know, 2, 3 years ago, I was playing on cruise ships on Royal Caribbean. That's a
Hmm.
different story. We can talk about that later. But
Hmm.
normally, I play more like jazz, big band, funk, also rock music and disco music as well. I'm I would say that I'm very versatile in terms of music styles.
Okay. And then going back to like the cruise ship playing for a second. So I
Yeah,
know that there are house bands that tour on cruise ships, but then there are also like, more national acts that get brought in to play on cruises as well. So were
right.
you like part of a house band or were you a hired band?
Yes, actually, yeah, I was a drummer in the orchestra. So it was probably the most challenging job I ever had because you get on board, you sign on, you have no idea who they are, and you just go to the theater, you introduce yourself to this bunch of musicians. They've been doing this for months, and you're the new guy in town, and they put this music in front of you, and the music director is like, okay, you guys ready? One, two, and you go.
Hmm.
You have to sight read music. I knew about this and I prepare myself for this. But one thing is when you're doing this at home with a backing track, and another thing is when you're doing this with nine musicians who are
Hmm.
looking at you and in a huge theater. So It's frightening. It's terrifying.
So when you say that it was an orchestra, do you mean actual like, woodwind brass type sections, or do you mean, a
Yeah,
little bit of each and
absolutely.
then just you on a drum set, or was there like multiple percussionists?
No, it's normally it's a 9 or 10 piece orchestra with
Okay.
horns, guitar, bass, piano, horns, and sometimes strings. Normally, the music director would play trumpet or piano. It depends. But the drummer is, I would say, the most important part of the orchestra because
Hmm.
it's the tempo, the sound, the
Hmm.
intention, the feeling. You can have a mistake from the bass,
Hmm.
but if the drummer makes a mistake, it's literally a train wreck.
Sure. Or maybe even a shipwreck in this case.
A shipwreck, yes.
So, for anybody that's curious, how did you find that job? Like, if somebody wanted to do that, how would they figure out, where to apply for that?
It's a really good question. But I was in music school in Buenos Aires, finishing music school, and there's like a community board, where all the musicians, put ads and whatever, looking for a guitar player. And I saw this little piece of paper that says we're looking for drummers for cruise ships, and I was like, huh, that's cool. I always wanted to travel the world, so I sent an email, and yeah, they were looking for different musicians, not just drummers. So I sent my information, application, and some material about me, and I auditioned, and I did not get it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I didn't get it. So then, after like 2 or 3 or 4 months practicing and working on it, I auditioned again, and yeah, I got the job.
Nice.
So that is
Awesome.
a good message for the audience, right? Don't quit.
Yep, absolutely. So, why did you eventually decide to stop doing that?
Well, I actually I didn't decide that. It was COVID. I was
Ah,
doing that.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was doing that until 2020, on different cruise ships, and
Hmm.
I actually got promoted to music director. I was
Hmm.
doing the music direction in one of the cruise ships. I met my actual wife there. She's an ice skater.
Nice.
We met on cruise ships. Um, and then, we had one of these meetings on board, and they were like, there's a virus going on. And we were like, just don't worry about it. It's just, it's not a big deal.
Hmm.
And, COVID started.
So do you think once like the cruise line industry picks up again, I know they started doing cruises again, but once it's back to like where it was, do you think that's something that you'll go back to?
I think about that on a daily basis, but
Hmm.
I don't think so because right now I'm really happy with what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I'm here living in Winter Park. I'm recording. I have bands, students. I'm teaching and writing music, and I'm really excited. The main problem with working on cruise ships is the fact that um, when you're there, this sounds silly, but it's the truth. When you're there, you're not here. So
Hmm.
somebody else is doing things here on land. And
Hmm.
when you come back after your 7, 10, 11 months contract, you go back home, there's nobody waiting for you.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So
very
you have to start from scratch.
that's a very sobering concept, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
I mean,
So
yeah.
so to kind of go back, you briefly mentioned that you picked stuff up in the meantime while you could, and now you're teaching and working with other bands. Let's talk about some of that. So, what are the types of bands that you're working with now?
Well, first of all, my main project is my own quintet. It's of course, it's my own music. I wrote the charts and the music and the melodies for all the musicians. It's trumpet, sax, guitar, bass, and I play drums. And that's my main uh, group. All my energy goes there. So we have a couple of gigs before the end of the year and blah blah blah.
Hmm.
And then I'm playing with a covers band, which is also really fun and exciting. Uh, and then a lot of teaching and recording.
Okay, and are you doing like session work, or do you mean recording your projects?
both, because since I have my own recording studio here in Winter Park, it's kind of endless because I record for other artists and musicians, and people come here to my place to record their own music.
Awesome.
But then I have to keep working on my music, so it's kind of endless. It's a whole thing. But
Well,
I can't complain.
yeah, I mean, that's what you wanted to do, and now you're doing it. So.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly.
So, you said that you're in a quartet and you guys are going to be doing shows, and that's your main focus project.
Yes.
Are you guys putting out an album? Did you put out an album? Like, what's the
Yes.
projected future for that?
Yes. With that specific project, I have an album on Spotify and different old platforms, Amazon Music and etc. It's called Pablo Aragona Quintet. It's on all these platforms. And apart from that, we are gonna record new music in March 2022 with this quintet. So yeah, we're working on that and looking forward to record new material.
Awesome. So tell me what some of your favorite memories are about the time that you've been participating in music, whether it was, destroying drum sets when you were a kid or, being on a cruise ship. Like,
Yeah.
what are some of your best memories?
Well, one that it really meant a lot was in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, because there's a super famous theater in downtown, and I used to go there, when I was a kid, and then when I was kind of in high school, and after that, going to see all my idols and favorite bands from Argentina and from all around the world. And one day, I don't know if you're familiar with the Bad Blast. It's like a super famous jazz trio from New York.
Mm-mm.
So they were touring with Joshua Redman, another famous jazz musician, and for some reason they contacted me and they wanted like an opening act for them. And so that's what we did. We played for them, and I had this moment when I was playing the show, and I was like, I just can't believe that this is happening. I'm here. I'm on this stage where I used to see all my idols for so many years, and I'm here now. So to me, that was like a nice message. Like, okay, keep going, keep pushing
Mm-hmm.
it. One day that's gonna happen. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good message as well. But I think
Because
that's
like, yeah. Basically, like as a musician in general, not amateur musicians, but in general, like the chances are really really bad, that you can do your own music. It's really hard. It's really
mm-hmm.
hard to be successful doing your own music,
Mm-hmm.
but you just need to win one time.
Mm-hmm.
So um it's perseverance. Keep pushing it, keep trying.
Excellent. I absolutely agree. So what are the social links where people can check out the stuff that you're making and take a look at you?
Basically, as I said before, Spotify, Pablo Aragona. I have two projects. Pablo Aragona Quintet is one. Is the project that I was talking about before, kind of a jazz, funk, modern type of music. It's really exciting, and I love that music, of course. And the other one is just so called Aragona, which is my last name, and people can find there all my music. It's more like a pop music style, and that's a different side of my career. But both are connected, and I like both, and I'm proud of them. So
Yeah, I mean,
Spotify,
if you're proud of it, might as well flaunt it for sure.
exactly, yeah. Spotify, Instagram, Pablo Aragona, and Facebook, Pablo Aragona. They can send me a message, tell me if they like the music or not. I'm always open.
And so I always like to give the person that I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So just a message that you kind of feel you resonate with.
Well, as I said before, to me, it's been always about trying to find the music that I like, and if I have to record something, I might just record something that I want to listen to. I'm not somebody who's following the new trend or the new music style to become famous. I don't believe in that. I don't think that's the right thing to do. You know what I mean? It's, to me, it's more like, do the music that you want to do and go with that. And it's going to be more genuine and more authentic, because that's going to be you as a musician. If you're going to just follow in the last trend, or the sound of that musician, of the sound of this musician, because that's the thing that you think is going to give you money, it's probably not going to work.